everybody, this is Ender's Diamond back for another Gamers Review video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation Aim Controller Mark 1. So let's get straight into it. So the reason I call this the Mark 1 is because I expect they'll be making a new version very soon, and if you're watching this sometime in the future, well, you'll want to make sure you know which is which. First, let's go over the controllers. On the back here, as you can clearly see, you have the X, square, triangle, circle, and the right joystick. This takes the place of the right joystick. This takes the place of R2. Up here, you have the D-pad and the PlayStation button. On either side, up top, you have R1, and R1 again. So R1 is repeated, so if you ever need to use R1, you can do it from here, or if you're right, you can do it from here. This way you don't have to reach around with that, and it actually makes a lot of sense, because this is the only feature, this is the only feature, the R1, that depends on your hand. So left-handed, right-handed. I am personally left-handed. So, to continue onward, we have left joystick, the four little touch controls, I forget what those are called at the moment, and then the share and options button. Those are actually very comfortable to press in, and I'll get into that in a minute. Here you have L1, this usually takes the place of a scanner or a sensory option. And here you have L2, which this usually takes the place of a missile because there's no aiming system. There's only one other feature, which is this port here. This is the same port that the DualShock 4 takes on, so you can charge these from the same exact wire. However, it does include its own charging wire in case you don't for some reason have a DualShock 4. Let's talk about this front section. Over here, this front section here, this actually feels very comfortable to move around with using this as a trigger, so I think that's very well placed. This on the back, these things, they're fine, you can use them if you want, but you can't move while you're using them, so that's a slight dilemma. You can be pressing them, you can't move while you're pressing them. The options of the share buttons are in perfect positions, so if you're in the middle of fighting off an enemy and you have to press options, you can just press that. And they're actually very comfortable, and the way they push in is very crisp and clear and smooth. The very, very front has these two, and they're actually pretty comfortable. You can hold the L2 very comfortably while you're holding it like you should be, like this, right? And you can hold you can do the L1 if you need to in between action. However, in the middle of action, it can be very difficult to be holding L1. In terms of the back, I think it works to be able to hold it like this. However, it's much more comfortable to hold it like this. The buttons are fine because you're not going to be using them that often, as it is. So they work in the positions they are. The trigger takes the place of X. You can use this on the main menu. You can only use this in one game in the main menu, and I'll be getting into that more. But in the main menu, the only thing you can do is select which option you want, and use this to select L2, or not L2, the left trigger, and use this to select. This takes the place of R2. This is the actual trigger. In terms of ergonomics, it's actually very comfortable. I've played Farpoint, and it's a lot of fun to blast the enemies away with this weapon, and it's pretty comfortable. It works. In terms of the aiming, because you do aim down the sights like this, it works fine for automatic weapons or semi-automatic weapons. However, when you get to weapons that you have to cock each time, like a sniper, it becomes more difficult to aim because your weapon's shaking around because of your hands. The thing is, it's almost too accurate. None of us are, of course, professional snipers, so none of us will be able to do anything remotely accurate with this. So when you're using a sniper weapon that requires intense precision, it's pretty off. It's very difficult to actually hit something with this. Much more difficult than it would be with a PS4. Because your hands are constantly slightly shaking. Especially getting headshots with this, even without the aim, is very difficult. This orb is what it tracks. This is the motion tracking on the front, and this lights up throughout the play session. The PlayStation button and the D-pad are both in kind of inconvenient places. Oh, here we go. It lit up. It is currently blue. They're both in relatively inconvenient places, but you're never going to be using these buttons in the middle of action. You'll be using them off to the side of action. So let's talk about the game that this is included with. Right now, there's only one title that this is included with. That is Farpoint. They expect to release 3 to 9 more within the next year, so that's before 2019, and I'm going to be excited for those. However, not all of them are shooter games. Some of them are puzzle walk games, and you use this to drag the puzzle blocks throughout the environment. it's actually pretty interesting. However, I think where this place will shine will be the shooter, but you may be able to come up with some pretty creative options. Eventually, what I'd like to see them do is have an attachment setting, so you can turn this maybe into a wand or a sword, so you can play that, and you could purchase maybe extra attachments that come with different games. That'll be pretty interesting. It might get a bit pricey, but if you kept the attachments to a mere physical status, maybe with some buttons, meaning they don't have any electronics running through them, well, I guess with the buttons they would have to, but once the electronics are in a hub here, and you kept it to a mere physical thing, so it feels more like waving around a sword, that could actually be very interesting. I'll leave a link in the description to Farpoint and the controller. You can buy the controller by itself, however, I really recommend buying Farpoint with the controller. Also, don't buy Farpoint without the controller, okay? Farpoint is not worth the money that you are spending on it. I think it's $30 to $40, depending on where you buy it. It's not worth the money. Do not buy Farpoint without this controller. It is fun with this controller. It is no fun without it. The story is not good enough. The environment is not good enough. The game mechanics are not good enough to buy it alone. Buy the controller. When I purchased this, it was a whopping $80 with the controller and with the game. And honestly, I have to say, if the controller doesn't get any more use, it wasn't worth it. There's just not enough you can do with the game. Otherwise, don't worry, I'll leave the link in the description to both of them, so you can buy them for the cheapest I can possibly find them. I hope you guys enjoyed this gamer's review video, and expect a video comparing all three controllers, as well as the Horizon Complete Edition, as soon as I get my hands on it. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you all in a future video. Bye guys.